welcome again to the Day of Asia Women Impact Summit. Again, we want to welcome you all, and this is a place to connect, to learn, and feel free to reach out. Find us on social media. To all our sponsors, feel free to reach out, and especially all these speakers. This is about true networking, and use the platform to schedule those meetings, schedule those calls, because we're here to support each other. Again, my name is Jenna Fuentes. I help with community building and creating of culture of belonging, especially supporting diversity, equity, inclusion. My family is actually from three generations on my mom's side from Hawaii, and from my dad's side, the Philippines. So I am just happy to be here again for the Day of Asia. So for our first talk, we're going to welcome Dr. Aparajita G. Digunta. I really hope I pronounced that correctly. And her talk is about DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. And she has done tremendous work in digital transformation, women in the workforce, side entrepreneurship, and mental health. Her doctorate is in social psychology, and she has a background as a coach, diversity and inclusion consultant, and an author as well. So let's hear her talk.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak at the Women Impact Summit 2021. My name is Dr. Aparajita Jidagunta, and today I am here to talk to you about choosing to infuse hope into our lives. And by that, I mean health, optimism, peer support, and education, especially important when it comes to understanding the needs of Asian women and in the workforce and Asian entrepreneurs who are women, and making sure that we create more opportunity for them to get funding, better access to resources, better mental well-being, better peer support, and better success rates in business and in life. A little bit about me. I am a social and personality psychologist, and I am the daughter of two immigrant parents from India, and I'm an immigrant myself. I'm also a two-time traumatic brain injury survivor that worked in the spheres of education, academia, corporate, and nonprofit management before various factors in my society around me led me down the path of entrepreneurship and led me to create my platforms and all of the work that I do now in the space of mental well-being, anti-harassment in cyberspaces and digital spaces, as well as in consulting companies on diversity, equity, inclusion, and belongingness initiatives, especially in this age of digital transformation. So today I want to talk to you about women's entrepreneurship, particularly Asian women's entrepreneurship, as well as mental health and peer support, optimism, and education, and tell you a little bit about why infusing hope is so necessary for all of us and something that we can all come together on. So let's start off with the state of Asian women entrepreneurs and diversity, equity, inclusion, and belongingness. Just a little bit of statistics here. We know that, and this is from, the graph is from Statista, we know that as of 2020, Asian countries are still lagging behind quite a bit in a very disproportionate way on entrepreneurial ventures being funded for women-led enterprises, for women-led small businesses, and for women entrepreneurs. South Asia has less than 20% of female entrepreneurs. However, women-owned and controlled enterprises create direct employment for about 27 million people in India. Now, I could go into a lot more stats on this, but so can you. They're all over the internet. What we know when we go through the studies is that it is a combination of the differing cultural norms, the lack of the disaggregation of data when it comes to funding businesses, access to resources and trainings and measurements, what is being measured and how it is being measured, what the idea of success even is, are not equitable for women right now. So yes, we have made progress over the past decade and 2 decades, but we still have a long way to go. We know that push and pull factors are different for women. For instance, 71% of women entrepreneurs start a business to make a difference in the world, compared to 63% of men. And I was one of those 71% of women. 65% of women start a business to build wealth or earn a high income, compared to 73% of men. 45% of women entrepreneurs start a business to earn a living because jobs are scarce, or their employment opportunities or their promotion opportunities are very rare, especially in Asia, compared to 38% of men. And 29% of women entrepreneurs start a business to continue a family tradition, compared to 32% of men. So these factors that push us towards entrepreneurship, things like better income, more stability, financial management, and the pull factors, our motivations, our inspirations, our need to find a purpose and make a difference in our own lives, as well as in the lives of those around us in our community. They are vastly different for women than they are for men. Now, when we couple this with mental health and the ideas of work-life integration, urban, rural access to resources, and so many other factors, we find that we have a lot of areas we need to improve on. As I mentioned, work-life integration is a huge part of it. Women having to manage careers and family life. Women prioritizing our health and well-being as an act of selflessness instead of selfishness. Women finding support, sponsorships, mentorships. Women finding resources and trainings that allow them to have a competitive advantage in a hyper-competitive marketplace. And of course, funding. We know that funding is vastly inequitable for women. Again, the stats are undeniable that all of these areas are areas that we need to improve on, to improve the state of women entrepreneurs and to define our own ideas of success in this space. Now, coming to mental well-being, this is just one stat. The US, which is where I'm located, we know that Asian Americans are 3 times less likely to seek out mental health support services than other Americans. And of course, if our mental well-being is not taken care of first and foremost, how can we be the best in other aspects of our life, including our business? This is where Infuse Hope comes in. Looking at all of these and looking at my journey, especially through this COVID pandemic, and looking at the state of things in India, I decided to start an initiative called Infuse Hope, because we need to infuse hope so that we can take care of ourselves and each other. Now, Infuse Hope stands for infusing health, optimism, peer support, and education. And this Infuse Hope framework can be used by anyone, anywhere, because it provides a holistic view of how, when we take care of the entire ecosystem around a person, and when we put the person at the center of that ecosystem and allow that person to thrive and take care of themselves, that's when we can move towards progress and a better society. So at Infuse Hope, we focus on health and well-being. We focus on connecting people with accurate information. We focus on optimism, inspiration, and motivation, because we want to focus on the pull factors first and not the push factors. We want to inspire people to continue to improve and grow, rather than to focus on the negatives in their life. We also want to provide peer support. So we are creating a platform. We have created a platform where no matter what your needs are, when it comes to mental well-being, grief and loss, mentorship, and so many other aspects of your life, you can register to speak to a peer support volunteer for free. You can schedule times according to your availability and language preference, and you can get referrals to long-term mental health care and treatment options, and several other services that will be added as we scale. Finally, at Infuse Hope, we want to focus on education, particularly when it comes to financial literacy and money management for women, as well as digital transformation trainings for small business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs. So I hope you join our cause. And by our cause, I mean the cause to infuse hope in women entrepreneurs, in aspiring women entrepreneurs, and women in the workforce all over the world, which Heroikka is already doing, and this Women Impact Summit is already doing. When we come together on these causes, we can infuse hope in all of us. If you want more information, please don't hesitate to email us at info@infusehope.org. And I just want to leave you with these words of inspiration here. And Christopher Reeve said this, the man who played Superman. Once you choose hope, or once you choose to infuse hope, anything is possible. So thank you so much again for this wonderful opportunity. And I look forward to us working together to infuse hope in all of us so that we can grow together, we can learn together, and we can empower ourselves and each other. Thank you so much.
So along to our program, who we have next is Cheryl Yimeng Leong. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And she will be giving a talk on mental health tips for women entrepreneurs. Her background is in counseling psychology and expressive arts theory. She's a founder at Leading with Consciousness, which she'll talk more about. She's a leadership consultant, licensed marriage and family therapist, quite an impressive background. So again, mental health is more important nowadays to seek work-life balance. Again, this whole idea of self-confidence, self-expression, which is tied with mission, values, purpose, and our work, and if you truly want to make an impact. So it's really about starting with mental health from the beginning as a foundation. So thank you, Cheryl, and take it away, and let's take a look at our talk.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cheryl. I am a licensed therapist in California, as well as a conscious leadership coach, as well as a consultant for diversity, equity, and global inclusion. Wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope wherever you are, you're feeling okay and coping with whatever is going on around you. And so glad you're here. The topic I'm talking about is mental health and entrepreneurship. And we rarely think of these two things together. But today I'm going to show you how these two things actually matter together, and to start thinking about these two things as something that really are so tied together and inescapably married to each other. So when we think about entrepreneurship, we think about how we run a business, right? We start something from scratch, an idea, a solution we're offering, and we nurse it. We help it to grow. We make connections and we grow our business. That's entrepreneurship. We jump into the market and we do something brave and courageous. And when we think about that, when I think about that, I also think, well, what's going on for the entrepreneur? What's going on for us in terms of our emotional health as we're doing this? What kind of a mindset do we need as we're doing this? And is it okay to just feel okay? Is it okay to not feel okay as we're doing this? And what does it mean to be okay versus thriving? And what do we do when we don't feel okay, right? And so mental health is an inescapable part of what it means to be an entrepreneur. And mental health is an inescapable part of any business practice, any business relationship. And as long as we are human beings in a business network of any kind, in a business system, in an ecosystem of any kind, human beings have a mental health system. And so here's the deal. Here's some facts. And they're very difficult facts to talk about because each time I talk about it, it feels heavy. We've been experiencing the COVID-19 pandemic. It's been a crisis. What we rarely talk about, and we have talked a little bit more about it. I see Western newspapers at least cover that we're also experiencing parallel to the pandemic is a global mental health crisis. And we've seen things all over the world, right? We've seen throughout the last 2 years, social economic systems really experiencing crisis, collapse, trying to rebuild, right? Human beings, grieving for, experiencing loss, um, fears, panic, right? We've experienced all of that as a human global community. We've experienced this through COVID-19. But I think that we also need to start talking about how this has been one of the greatest global mental health crises that we have ever seen in our lifetime. There was a study that was put out, The Guardian published this on Friday, October 8th, 2021, that the COVID crisis dramatically worsened global mental health. And a study found that 76 million extra cases of anxiety and 53 million extra cases of depression um, were diagnosed during this pandemic around the world. And what's also important to mention is that the study found that domestic violence may have played a role in this increase, and that the places in the world that experienced a sharp increase, the highest increase, were also places in the world that had the lowest social mobility and suffered the biggest sort of social economic sort of negative factors through this global pandemic crisis. And so there is a question when it comes to mental health and this pandemic. There is also a question of equity, right? Global equity. What does it mean? Because if my mental health means more than yours because of inequity, because of social inequity, economic inequity, um, an unequal distribution of resources, where some people get access to mental health care and others don't, right? This is essentially an issue of equity. And so here are a little couple more facts. Okay, doctors were twice as likely to die from suicide through this pandemic. Around 1 in 5 people who are young, children and adolescents around the world, have a mental health condition. 25% of the global population suffers from mental illness. Two-thirds of people with a mental health condition don't receive the care that they need because of poor access to healthcare. This is from projecthope.org. So, what exactly is mental health? Mental health is, according to the World Health Organization, and I won't read out the full definition here, but it is a state of well being in which we own abilities, can cope with normal stresses in life, can work productively, can make a contribution, can make a contribution. Mental health is fundamental to our collective and individual health. And so, to promote good mental health, we are also thinking of ourselves as a global community. We're thinking of ourselves individually as important and necessary and valuable. And societies throughout the world deserve good mental health. And I think this makes a case for equitable business. As entrepreneurs who are business owners, what does it mean to run an equitable business so that my mental health is not more important than yours? Where everyone's mental health really does matter. And so this is a case for psychological safety, not just in business relationships and business partnerships, but also where we source for our materials, where our production takes place, how this trade happens. Is this a psychologically safe business system? Do you have a business that creates psychological safety for all? or is it an inequitable one where one feels safer than the other? This phone, for example, was probably a factory somewhere, and there's cases where there's high levels of suicide with people producing a phone like this, right? um, so as we think about what it means to have an equitable, socially conscious business, can we also think about what it means to have psychological safety in the workplace, in our business relationships, and these international business exchanges? How can we make it as equitable as possible? Our relationship to the environment matters. If we produce something, if we source for something and it is at the
Intro India
expense of
Private
indigenous
Limited.
people, for example, if their home, right, if is getting deforested, and they're subjected to high levels of pollution, how is that psychologically safe? How is that good for mental health? And doesn't it mean that our mental health is a little bit more important? The profits that we make, right, are more important. And so the case for psychological safety for me is that psychological safety needs to be a basic human right. Basic mental health, access to healthcare, access to mental health care, and systems that create healthy psychology versus a psychology that is based on inequity and bad mental health is that is my sort of call to everyone today, to think about how we do business and to think about equity and how it relates to mental health and psychological safety. So when I think about psychological safety, I think about different aspects of who we are. There's the physical part of what it means to be safe, there's an emotional part, there is the existential spiritual part, and then there's the relational, communal part, and then connection to the planet and eco-psychology. And I run through this checklist as I think about, these different components to good mental health or psychological safety. Number one, my physical needs, your physical needs. What do our bodies need? Right now, I'm running through my own body. I have a little bit of neck pain because I've been carrying my toddler, so I need to take care of my neck, right? Emotional needs. What am I feeling, right? If I'm sad, what does my sadness need? If I'm angry, what does my anger need? Our emotions matter. And if someone else's emotions need something, what can we do for them? Existential and spiritual needs. What meaning am I making today? What meaning are you making today? Can we co-create meaning? Can there be shared meaning in our business? Relational and communal needs. What do my relationships need today? Maybe I need to nurture this business relationship. Maybe my employee needs a little more time with me. Maybe I need to look at employee benefits. Maybe I need to look at my own relationship life with my family or my community. Maybe I need more community life. And then finally, our connection to the planet. What does it mean? It's eco-psychology has shown that our connection to nature, being in nature, is so important for a great mental health. And so things like, when's the last time I looked at the sky? When's the last time I paid attention to nature? When's the last time I was in nature? Right? When's the last time I thought about the planet? Things like that help with psychological safety within yourself and with others. And so, with that, I wish you all better mental health. I wish you all a great journey in your entrepreneurship. And my call, my request, my persuasion today is for us to think about equity, mental health, and psychological safety, not just for ourselves, but that it needs to be a global community effort. And I think business is a great way to create such safety for all. Okay, with that, I thank you very much.
I just want to plug it again, but please make sure to use the B2B platform, because this is a space for everyone to engage, learn, reach out, connect, mentor. For all the female entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs around the world, please make sure to seek out mentorship, connect, engage with other people through this event. Let's keep the conversation going even after the summit. Reach out to each other, including myself on LinkedIn, and including the speakers. So our next speaker is Melinda Epler. She is the founder and CEO at Change Catalyst. Change Catalyst builds inclusive innovation ecosystems through training, consulting, coaching, and events. She has a background in sociocultural anthropology, cinematic arts, experience design, startups, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. And she's going to talk to us today about what it means to how to be an ally. So, awesome live show podcast host and author. She will share her knowledge and experience with all of us. And as we already know, given the pandemic and post COVID and what the world has, the disruption, rather, diversity and equity inclusion has been an important topic for many decades. And only COVID has revealed and shed light on the importance of it. So let's take it away and let's listen to our next talk.
Hi, everyone. Hello. So we are making history right now. This is a unique moment in history where we can either be polarized or we can unite. Women and everyone, now is the time for us to really stand up for each other and support each other with our unique experiences that we're having right now in this moment. I'm Melinda Brianna Epler. I'm the author of How to Be an Ally and founder and CEO of Change Catalyst. I am a diversity, equity, and inclusion speaker, advocate, and author, and I train and advise and coach executives, entrepreneurs, investors, and activists on how to build diverse, equitable, and inclusive companies and really show up for each other as allies. So I want you to think back to a time when you were the only in the room, the only woman, the only Black woman, the only Latina, queer woman, disabled woman. I suspect most of us have been the only in our life at one point or another, right? How did it feel? Lonely, more difficult? Remember that. And remember to look around any room you're in, whether that's physical or virtual, and see if anyone there feels like the only in that room. And ask yourself how you can help them feel more included so they don't have that experience. The reality is women are underrepresented in tech and in entrepreneurship. All women are, and especially Black, Indigenous, and Latinx women and disabled women, and especially at the top of our organizations, and especially at the head of well-funded startups. But it doesn't have to be that way. I've been working on diversity, equity, and inclusion for many years in tech, and I will say it's changing, but it's excruciatingly slow. Why? There's several reasons, including that often we rely on diversity, equity, and inclusion folks or the heads of ERGs or HR to make change happen. We rely on other people to make change happen, and we just hunker down and do our own job, which is okay, but that's not how change happens, right? We are part of the culture, and when we don't do anything, that things remain the same. It takes all of us working together to fundamentally shift a culture and an industry and an ecosystem, a startup ecosystem. So what if we all work together to support each other so all of us can rise? Having done this work again for some time now, I've come to believe that in order to really shift diversity, equity, and inclusion, it will take all of us working together to create change. What does that look like? Well, I'll give you a simple example. Women in the workplace are more likely to be interrupted than men, 3 times more likely than men to be interrupted. That means we're less able to express our ideas, share our opinions, provide feedback on things that matter to us. And it can affect us in the long term as well as the short term by shutting us down in meetings where we can't get a word in. So in those short-term moments, we can't get a word in, right? And that's frustrating. In the long term, it can significantly affect our career if we aren't able to show leadership, provide insight, and contribute to innovation. It matters. So when Barack Obama took office as president of the United States, just 1/3 of his top aides were women. They found that they were being left out of important meetings, or when they were in those meetings, they weren't being heard. So they started to amplify and echo and attribute each other. When one woman said something, another would echo the idea and attribute it to her, forcing recognition for her contribution. They did that over and over until President Obama took notice and began calling on more women in the meetings. He began recognizing their contributions. We can work together to make a difference for each other through allyship. So what is allyship? Allyship is empathy in action at its basic level. It's seeing seeing someone, really learning what they are uniquely experiencing, their unique worldview, where they might need support, and helping them succeed and thrive with us. As I said, we're in a unique time in history. Year 2 of the pandemic, with lots of people really suffering, and disproportionately so. Many of us are facing the edge of burnout. Lots of women have taken a step back from their work to be caretakers full time. Asian women are experiencing an increase in anti-Asian hate. Black and Indigenous women continue to face daily systemic racism. Disabled women experience severe unemployment. Immigrants, Muslim women, LGBTQIA plus women, we're all experiencing some form of exclusion, and our intersectional identities often add additional layers. So allyship is really important right now. Our research at Change Catalyst shows that women who have at least one ally in the workplace are nearly twice as likely to feel safe in their workplace. Twice as likely to feel safe. Our research also found that having a good ally positively impacts job and workplace satisfaction, productivity, engagement, stress, career advancement, and just general happiness. So what does allyship look like? Learn, unlearn, and relearn. Women are intersectional. So how are you learning about the unique experiences of Black women, of Indigenous women, Asian women, Muslim women, Jewish women, disabled women, women who are lesbian, intersex, trans, bi, pan, queer, women who face age discrimination, women who don't have the same access and opportunities that you have. And of course, women with intersectional identities, and don't forget our non-binary friends as well. So learn, there are gaps in our understanding of history, as well as the present. So what are you doing to fill those gaps? Where are you learning? How are you getting to know people who are different from you? Broaden your network and experiences. Are you working to learn the language someone uses to describe themselves, their pronouns, their preferred communication styles, what's going on at home? What do they care about? Where do you have room to learn and grow and learn? Where do you have room to learn, unlearn, and relearn and grow? And second, do no harm. Understand and correct our biases about each other. So we do all harm people without intending to, through biases that we learn through our families, through our friends, culture, media. They can harm other women. Do you make jokes about other women? A couple of weeks ago, pumpkin spice latte jokes were going around. Jokes or comments about what other women are wearing, whether something is just a little bit off about her. She's a little fill in the blank. All that is perpetuating harmful stereotypes. Education is one thing, shaming and perpetuating stereotypes is another. We can be pretty unkind to each other, and it can be really harmful to all of us in the long term. So really think about the biases you might be showing and sharing about other women. How do you hold space for women to share their own different concerns and experiences? Who's in your in group and who's in your out group? And can you expand your in group to include more women? What biases might you have about other women, and what will you do to correct them? Also, understand and overcome microaggressions. So microaggressions are little verbal or nonverbal slights that, whether intentional or not, can really make somebody feel belittled, othered, disrespected, and like they don't belong. It can be very harmful, and it can affect us in the moment. But again, also research is showing that microaggressions have long-term physical and mental health effects, as well as career health effects over time. So a simple one, interruptions. I've been harmed by many men interrupting me countless times. How many of you all have been interrupted in the past? And I would say women do it to each other as well. So even if this has happened to you, it doesn't mean you don't unconsciously do it yourself. It has happened to me so many times, I never thought I would do it to anybody else. But several years ago, my co-founder called me out one day. He said, every time this woman, we'll call her Genevieve, every time Genevieve starts talking, you start multitasking. You listen to everyone else, but when she speaks, you start doing other things at the same time. I was shocked. And the next time we were in a meeting together, I noticed I started to multitask when she was speaking. Do no harm to each other. Give women your full attention. Don't interrupt. Echo and attribute their ideas if they aren't heard. And really work on your biases and microaggressions. There's so much more that we can't talk about today in this short talk. There's a lot of language that has underlying racial, racist, sexist, ableist, heteronormative meanings. Learn what that language is and remove it from your vocabulary so you do no harm. So how will you overcome your own microaggressions? Fourth, advocate for other women. An advocate uses their power and influence to support someone or a group. So when women put their jobs on hold to become full-time caregivers, when they start to return to work, and especially women of color, advocate for them, hire them. Millions of women are going to be, and some already are, coming back to work with a gap in their resume. And that gap can be very dangerous in the algorithms where we're sorting resumes now. How can you make a case for them to come back? How can you change your systems, your hiring systems, so that that gap doesn't become a penalty? Change the way you filter your resumes and hire women back to the workforce. Notice when someone is burning low and help them light their fire. Studies show that women are feeling extra burnout right now. So really tune into this and support each other. Check in with each other, help each other find the joy and the happiness and the hope in a world that can be difficult in this moment. Really tune in. Who is checking out right now, and how can you check in with them? Women make 37% less than men in the workplace, and women with intersectional identities earn significantly less. So help women in your life get paid what they're worth. So just as an example, when I was interviewing for a senior level job once, a friend connected me to an HR director at a similar company who gave me the lowdown on all the compensation and equity packages I should demand for that position. It made a huge difference in that negotiation. How can you help somebody with the knowledge that you have and help them be paid equitably? Also, mentor somebody who's junior to you. And then if you're further in your career, or if they're further in their career, sponsor them. Use your power and your influence to really open doors for them, open networks for them. So really think about where you have an opportunity to advocate for another woman. 5, stand up for what's right. It's the hardest part of allyship, to stand up, to step in when somebody is being harmed, but somebody is being harmed. It's so important that when we see something, we say something or we do something. So if someone says something belittling, racist, sexist, ableist, work to educate them and stop that harm from happening. Ideally, do it in the moment, but you can also do it after the fact. Even if it's to check in with the woman who experienced a microaggression or harm in some other way and see if they're okay. And then maybe work together to plan how you might in the future better protect and support each other. Because when you do that, one person becomes 2, and hopefully 2 become 3, and 3 become 4. And then you have more power and your influence together. So how might you intervene and stand up for what's right? Ask yourself that question daily, weekly. 6 is to lead the change. You can lead the change no matter where you are in your organization, no matter who you are and how big your startup might be or how big your investment firm might be. It sucks that we have to do all of this, or that we have to do this ourselves, that we have to work to advocate, to lead the change. I have a live event series on a podcast called Leading with Empathy and Allyship, where we talk about solutions, and 70% of our audience is women. Women are doing more of this work, but who's going to do it if we don't do it? We need to do this work both within ourselves and also to lead the change, to push for more change. So advocate for systemic change in your organization. Companies are listening now more than ever. I can tell you because I'm working with them. So tell them what you want. Advocate that your company hire women and anyone with underrepresented identities at every level of the organization, including the board. And not just hire, but build inclusion and equity in compensation and promotion. If you're an investor, advocate for diversity in your portfolio, advocate for changing that portfolio. There's no excuse. There are a lot of women startups that are not getting well funded. Just around 2% of all startup funding goes to women entrepreneurs, where women entrepreneurs are over 35% of all entrepreneurs. It's not right, and you can do something to change that. And then think about your work. How can you do your work in a way that is more inclusive? Really spend some time thinking about that this week. Is it accessible to women with disabilities? Are you thinking about women with different ethnicities and races, women from the LGBTQIA plus community, women in different regions, and so on? Really think about how you can be more inclusive and equitable in your work. If you're a manager, how are you creating a more inclusive team? If you're a leader, how are you impacting systems, processes, and culture so that they are more inclusive and equitable? How will you lead the change from wherever you are? And 7 is to transform your industry. All of us, events like this is helping change the industry. Thank you, Micah. What can we do? If you see other events that don't have women speakers, advocate for more women speakers and diverse women speakers. If you create events, make them inclusive. We actually have an inclusive events toolkit on our website at changecatalyst.co. So go there and learn how to do that more effectively. Get together with people in your field and work to create change across companies as well. I believe we can be the generation that creates the change that we want to see. Let's be better allies for all of us. And I will say I have a new book out called How to Be an Ally. So as an ally to me, please go to Amazon or your favorite bookseller and purchase it and review it too. That can make a huge difference for me as an ally. You can learn more about me and the book at melindabriannaepler.com. So please go check out the book and think today about how you can be a better ally for the women around you. I appreciate you and all the work you do to make the world a better place for all women. Thanks.
So, our next talk is Dr. Tina Alton. She is the founder and president at Nations of Women. She will talk about her organization, how she started it, the impact that she's creating. She's heavily involved in women leadership organizations such as WBAF, Global Women Leaders Committee, the World Business Angels Forum and Investing, for example. So let's hear her talk now.
Okay, so my name is Tina Alton. I'm the CEO and president here at Nations of Women, and I'm delighted to come your way at the Women Impact Summit 2021. And today I want to talk about a subject that is very, very dear to my heart, but also really since the last 18 months has become a trend that I keep seeing over and over and over again. Leaders, all across the world, from governments to small business owners to families to moms, grandmas, aunties, every single woman who is in some form of entrepreneurship or career needs to be aware of this, and it is the word awareness. I think so many events have happened in our world. I don't know about you, but if we look at United States, here in the United Kingdom, so many things have happened in the last 18 months. UK left the EU, United States went through elections. There was the George Floyd, situation that happened. And I find that it created a real sense of awareness amongst every one of us. We became more and more aware of ourselves, aware of our communities, aware of issues that are affecting our sisters and our colleagues around the world. So I wanna take some time and share about awareness and how that is key in developing yourself as a leader in today's world, and especially post-COVID. Need awareness. Basically, we need awareness. I mean, John C. Maxwell says in his book that you must know yourself in order to be able to grow yourself, right? And as a leader, one of the key things we always need to be in a continuum of is really developing ourselves. A leader must develop themselves in order to be able to develop others as well, and in order to be able to serve effectively. And so you must know yourself in order to grow yourself. Now, knowing yourself means the being aware. What happens if you don't have awareness? Number one, it becomes really hard to recall, important information, important conversations, important action points that makes you an effective leader. So, for example, you've had a team meeting and you don't, take notes, you're not aware of the situation, you're not aware of what is going on, maybe in the lives of your colleagues or your team or your staff. How are you going to be able to recall what is important? How you're even going to communicate back to your team? So therefore, being aware requires us to put steps in place that enables us to be able to recall at the right time for the right purpose and ultimately create effectiveness in ourselves as leaders. Number two, without awareness, it can be tricky to have a sense of direction. So if you take, we're traveling, well, we haven't, I don't know about you, but I've not been able to travel as much as I normally, would travel in the course of a year. But we've traveled perhaps to see our family members because most of the world was in a lockdown. And so if you're not aware of, okay, I'm going to, going to United States. I'm not aware of the weather. I'm not aware of what is the closest airport. I'm not aware of how I'm going to get from the airport to my hotel. I'm not aware of, what airline I'm traveling with, what gate I must board, all of those things. Without awareness, you can't really truly have a good sense of direction. And so it is very, very important and very key for us as leaders to understand that awareness brings us a sense of direction. And then, thirdly, awareness, knowing yourself, helps you to find your passion and your purpose. Why is it important to find your purpose and your passion? Well, because I don't know about you, but sometimes running a business, running an organization, leading leaders, it's very, very tough, right? And I know that sometimes, I've got to the point where it's like, oh, this is so hard. I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I can keep doing this. And I remember my purpose. I remember my why, right? And that purpose and that why, the power of that purpose allows me to power through. And some days it's, great, everything is going well, and you see that you're in the flow. It's your passion. Your passion also allows you to show up your very, very best. And so you must be able to have and carry that sense of awareness, because it is a key to being able to find your passion and your purpose for those difficult times. Nathaniel Branden says the first step towards change is awareness, and the second step is acceptance. So, awareness allows us to create change, and then from there, we're able to step into acceptance. Right. And there is definitely a direct connection between finding your passion and reaching your potential. Okay. And all of that also is because we have a sense of awareness. Right. Now, I want to talk to us again now, looking at how do you apply this lore, if you will, of awareness, right? Number one is action. Action means doing something. So maybe you might want to sit down, take a pen and paper, and write. What do you know about yourself? What do you notice about yourself? Look at last year here in the UK, it was in March. 2020 that we went into complete lockdown. So you can take stock, you can write down what have you learned about yourself since March of 2020 up till now, right? What maybe you developed new passions, maybe you developed a new interest in other things. What is it that you have discovered about yourself? What have you become aware of about yourself, right? And awareness also helps us to get committed to what we're called to, our purpose, our goals, our dreams. Because when you're aware, you have a sense of direction. You know where you're going. You know what you have to do. You know what is required of you at every point, right? And so it helps you to stay committed to your goal, committed to your vision. And it also helps you to be consistent because I'm aware of what motivates me, I'm aware of what inspires me, I'm aware of what is me, right? Then I am able to play to my strengths and I am able to create in what I'm called to do. It also helps you to be purposeful. And I think we've talked about that already. And knowing yourself helps you to be able to reflect better well, right? And I always recommend at least at the end of the day, find maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. What have you become aware of yourself? Awareness enables you also to, and we know that gratitude goes a long way in being able to keep us in the right mood, right attitude, framework of mind or mindset, if as many people that way. And so it is very, very important that I know some of you already practice gratitude, but every day if it's I have you know I have children. My oldest is 35 and she has two daughters, so I have daughters. And it's not always easy to find a quiet moment. And so even as the schools are open now, my kids go to school and I sit down and I'm enjoying my nice, my juice. And I'm thinking, wow, I'm just so grateful for the peace and quiet in being able to enjoy my juice, right? I don't drink tea or coffee, so I can't say tea or coffee, but it's just the ability to even be able to sit down quietly in peace and quiet, drinking that juice is like, wow, I am just so grateful. And I capture that moment and I put it down as in, I was just so grateful to have that time for me. So it's very, very important. Now, how are you going to apply, right? How are you going to apply this awareness in your life? Number one, you want to think about what would you like to do that able to identify your purpose, your goals, your vision. Number two, what talents, skills, and opportunities do you have that supports that desire in doing what you want to do, right? And then you want to think about what is motivating that desire to do that. So again, is that you're creating a sense of awareness of yourself, a sense of awareness of your strengths, of your talents, of your goals, of your visions, of your drive, right? And you also want to look at, okay, what steps should you be taking starting from today that is going to allow you to do that? So your awareness, your action, and accountability. How are you going to hold yourself accountability? And then you also want to think about who is around you, right? We know there's a research to prove that you're the sum of the five people you hang out with. So you want to create a picture, write down who are the five people around you, because that is where you're taking advice from, and be aware of, are these five people supporting your growth? Are these five people actually taking and taking and taking? That's something you want to be aware of as well. And also you want to look at what price are you willing to pay, because to be able to become a leader who's truly aware of your purpose, your goals, your vision, your motivations, although it is going to take money, it is going to take resources, it is going to take your time, it is going to take your sacrifice. And so, what price are you willing to pay? That is an area that you need to be aware of. And then finally, you want to look at what area or where do you need to grow the most? We all have to grow. We all have so much more room to grow, right? And so you don't want to always spend time looking at the areas that you're not so good at, but you can spend time and become more aware and more in tune with the areas that you need to focus your strengths on, right? If you're able to grow, will actually help you in reaching your goal. So I hope this has been useful to you, helpful to you. I would be delighted to hear how you are applying, this law of awareness to your life. How is it impacting you as a leader, either in your community, in your home, or in your nation? And what other laws, do you have as a leader? What other laws do you apply to yourself that really truly helps you to be, the very best version of yourself as a woman and as a leader? Thank you again for allowing me to come your way and sharing my journey with you and this teaching with you. I hope it has been useful. You find it impactful. Apply it, and I'll be delighted to hear how it has impacted your life. Thank you so much again. My name is Tina Alton. I'm the CEO and President here at Nations of Women. And I look forward to connecting with you all soon. Many thanks. Bye bye.
So welcome to the Day of Asia Women Impact Summit. Again, we hope that you're finding these talks really beneficial, and we'd love to hear your thoughts, ideas, questions. Please engage with us on social media and in the platform. And that's the reason why we're here, is to really to support you all and to help facilitate and spark ideas and these conversations. So again, the Heroikka, the digital platform, one of our key sponsors, if you didn't know already, this is a space to seek mentorship and really Heroikka provides, it really connects women's projects needs with resources as well as capital. So this includes working with companies, government agencies, professionals to make projects created by women more sustainable and also visible, and a true exposure and platform for women. So you can discover impactful women-led projects, connecting to communities and global talent, building employee engagement, brand recognition, and inclusive programs and outcomes. So our next talk is the pitch session, which is women's entrepreneurs projects. You can hear from them firsthand on what they're creating and building, some really exciting work. And this is an open call. So women will pitch their ideas, businesses, and initiatives to all of you. So let's hear from these amazing women.
Maayong adlaw, good day from Iloilo City. My name is Noreen from Panublix, and we are here to connect designers with tropical textiles and artisan craft through transparent and impactful sourcing. Panublix comes from the Hiligaynon word panublion, which means heritage. In the 19th century, Iloilo was actually known as the textile capital of the Philippines. Today, there's an estimated 400 weaving enterprises around the country supporting thousands of Filipino artisans. COVID-19 poses a window of opportunity for sustainable fashion to take center stage. Although the industry was also badly affected by the pandemic, a lot of trends were accelerated, especially the rising consumer demand for conscious fashion and design. There are three things that conscious fashion customers care about: sustainable materials, ethical sourcing, and delightful shopping experience. Take customers like Jackie, a young executive. She's digital savvy, working remotely, and is hungry to express herself with unique style by buying meaningful pieces for her home and wardrobe. Designers like this persona named Diane recognize the heightened need to source unique materials to make her brand attractive for Jackie. But sourcing from reliable suppliers is a challenge, especially now with lockdowns and travel restrictions. On the other hand, Philippine artisans like Elda are located in rural areas. While they could benefit from e-commerce, there is a wide digital gap and steep learning curve for her to do business online. But what if there is a way to connect Elda with Diane so they can create sustainable designs for consumers like Jackie? This is where Panublix comes in. Panublix is a digital sourcing platform giving designers reliable and transparent access to source tropical textiles and artisan craft so they can design for the conscious fashion consumer. We are building a holistic solution across the tropical textile value chain where we provide direct access to sustainable raw materials and reliable rural artisans. Our base is our sourcing technology and development program designed for rural artisans to be enterprise ready for the digital economy. We are calling this the Panublix Weaving Enterprise Digital Enabler, or PWEDE, which means possible in Filipino. Aside from developing trusted relationships with artisans, this program also aims to put data points to production capacity, costs, and even tracking ESG metrics like income per artisan and carbon footprint in the supply chain. Our access to tropical textiles is through our partnership with the DOST Philippine Textile Research Institute. The yarn production facility is located here in Iloilo, and Panublix is the only current source for these materials. With a capacity to produce 50 kilograms a day of Philippine yarns like cotton, abaca, and pineapple, we can provide this to designers and replace the imported polyester that artisans use in their weaves. From there, we connect them to our platform and integrate traceability so customers are fully aware of who they are sourcing from. In less than 6 months, we've managed to onboard a total of 15 community enterprises, not just in Iloilo, but also in the provinces of Aklan and Abra in the Cordilleras. Our e-commerce store was able to link our communities to over 30 countries, reaching designer customers as far as UK and Italy. We are also currently in talks with designers from France, Spain, and the Netherlands. In just a few months since launching as an idea, we generated over $500,000 in sales, at least 60% of which went directly to our partners, creating and sustaining at least 50 jobs amidst this pandemic. Our initial revenues will come from the sale of yarns and weaves, but we eventually aim to create product collaborations with our design partners to showcase more applications of the material. Eventually, this will lead to a catalog of products co-designed by designers and artisans and will be offered at panublix.com. This becomes a platform bringing artisanal fashion brands to the digital economy. The same platform is what we could take to other Southeast Asian nations who also have rich cultural heritage in artisanal craft and textiles. Panublix is designed to be a business that contributes to a circular economy, where we move away from the extractive practices of the fashion industry. The key is to develop first the capacity to produce, so raw materials and weave production is currently being standardized, and we are working with select designers who give us the insights for the market. According to Textile Exchange, there is a global preference of 970,000 metric tons of sustainable tropical textiles. That's an estimated market of $7 trillion US. If we capture just at least 0.01% of that, that's a sum of $7.6 million US. We will position Panublix as a company that holistically embodies a social, cultural, material science, and tech-driven approach. We are raising $140,000 US for an 18-month runway to help us develop a circular supply chain. Solving a systemic problem needs a diverse team. That is why our backgrounds in tech, business, impact, design, and science makes us uniquely positioned to solve this challenge. History has taught us that previous pandemics gave rise to the Renaissance and the Roaring Twenties. If you support Panublix, we can build a gateway toward the Renaissance in sustainable fashion. Join us and let's make this happen. Madam, magandang salamat.
Hi, my name is Sarah and I live in Tuxla. I did BS Honors in Psychology and Diploma in Clinical Psychology. Why I want to establish this vocational training center in Tuxla? Because no such institution exists in this area. Regardless of the fact that there is a huge population of women of low middle class, The women will prepare these products with locally available resources. The center will initiates with 10 female participants aged 20 to 45 along with a resource person who is skilled in stitching bras, panties and reusable pads. This vocational training center can further become a long-term project. With the passage of time, this institution will lead to economic empowerment of women, will equip them with long-lasting skills that they can use it at any time, at any place. In the longer perspective, the participants should be able to earn by this skill. After 6 months, they will be released from the center. Meanwhile, the center will try to not only advocate their work but also to put them in contact with the relevant factory owner. Or if participants wants to start her own work, she will be provided with sufficient loan amount of money as a loan and to buy their necessary equipment. Thank you so much.
My name is Dr. Madiha Malik, and by profession, I'm a pharmacist. I'm working as a CEO of Syntax Health Project. Dhaga is one of the initiatives of Syntax Health Project. It's an e-line store which offers a flexible size range in breastwear and helps the patient recover from eating disorder. If you look at the market size in Pakistan, there are 107.2 billion women in Pakistan, out of which 43.8 million women wear pretwears, and which basically produce a total revenue of 4.2 billion for the fashion industry in Pakistan. Unfortunately, eating disorders are misdiagnosed and underreported in Pakistan. However, there is an estimate that 3.5 million women are suffering from eating disorders in Pakistan, and unfortunately, only 0.1 million of these women actually seek professional support. So this identified the problem that there is unavailability of flexible size range in pretwear for these 3.5 billion women suffering from eating disorder. And as you can see, the low number of the women identified with eating disorders, so this reflects the lack of screening for eating disorders, and the low number of women seeking for professional supports also highlights the poor awareness among community for eating disorders. So we decided to come up with solution. So we decided to launch an e-clothing store offering flexible size range in pretwear for these women. And we also offer free screening services for these women suffering from eating disorder. And we suggest for best fit apparels for the women and the children with eating disorders, and deliver information along with professional referrals. Obesity and eating disorder or any mental illness is considered a social taboo in Pakistan. So we decided to break all the stereotypes and to support these women for all the body positivity promotion which we can do as a brand. So if you look at our impact metrics, during the last 6 months, we have sold 163 stitch pretwears, which were stitched by the rural women, because we also believe to help and support the economic development of the country by helping the underprivileged women from these areas. And 85 customers were screened, and out of these 85 customers, 30% customers were diagnosed with eating disorders, while 45 was identified as the customers who had the risk of developing these eating disorders. And during this process, 5 women artisans were showcased, and which basically provided a sustainable livelihood for 30 people in the family. If you look at the business traction of Dhaga from March to August 2021, you can see that we have generated a total revenue of $5,705 with a gross profit of $3,095. We have customers in 5 major cities of Pakistan, and the monthly rise in the customer is by 20%, and we have got like 100 plus followers on social media in just during a time period of 6 months. So what is our investment roadmap, and what is our justifiable ask? We are seeking a total investment of $27,000 through loans and grants in order to acquire 2 of our strategic initiatives, that is customer acquisition and the launch of body positivity program. So we believe that with the help of this grant and our team, we would be able to acquire our first initiative, that is customer acquisition through digital advertising, social media paid partnerships, eating disorder awareness fashion shows, and we can hire counselors for promoting awareness for the launch of our body positivity program. And we believe that this will help us to generate a net income of $72,000 with a net profit of $21,339 with an impact on 11,315 lives by the end of 2024. So if any one of you is interested in Dhaga, please do contact us through our website, our email ID, or our telephone number. We look forward towards your support in breaking all the stereotypes associated with mental illness. And always remember that eating disorder is a disorder, not a choice. Thank you very much.
The Day of Asia Women Impact Summit. Again, my name is Jenna Fuentes, and I'm here to connect with you all, to get to know you all. Please feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. We are here to help provide resources, tools, support, and mentorship for all the women around the world. There's really just some amazing work being done of tools, solutions, strategies, even just starting points with ideation. And we are here to support each other. Heroikka, again, and all our sponsors at Women Impact Summit is here to connect women and all cross-sector. In essence, that's where true innovation happens, is the leading edge of intersections between fields. So with that, we have our next talk, which is a workshop, and it's entitled The Right Mindset for Getting Funding. So for those of you who are seeking funding, this talk is for you. And Agnes Pilos, she is a facilitator for Blueprint for Success, Business Development, and Human Relations. She has her MBA in Management and Human Strategy. She also was involved with First Nations Education Council based in British Columbia, Canada. We're very honored to have her today. So let's hear some talks about what is the right mindset for getting funding.
Hello, everyone. When time of funding is coming, which mindset do you think is important? How to stay strong when you have to face an investor or a banker? Which internal resources do you need to commit when you have to defend your project and ask for money to make it happen? Confidence, you will tell me. Yes, you're right. But which one? The theoretic and facade one? Or the inner and deep confidence? The one that comes from your inner truth and that no one can blow. It seems to be better to run with this one, don't you think? Even if you think that you are confident enough about your project, the reality is that you will have to face a lot of obstacles that could resonate with your own triggers first. And if you don't face them first, they will appear through your environment and then the people you will need to work with to federate, to demand, etc. They will act like your mirror till you decide to really face them and become absolutely aware of who you really are, who you are designed to be, and how to hold your vision. So, this subject is about funding, and this is a very challenging time when you launch your business. My name is Agnès Pilos. I am a French woman and I live in British Columbia, Canada. I am a business HR consultant and personal coach. I facilitate the Blueprint for Success method that concretely helps people to align with their purpose, vision, and values and get clarity in any projects. I have more than 15 years of experience in banking counsel, financial analysis, and selling for firms. I recently graduated an MBA in business development and management. My purpose is to help people to empower their inner truth in order to reveal it and also to improve dialogue between people. So it is a real pleasure for me to be here today with you and to be part of this powerful and tremendous worldwide community of women of talents. I would like to share with you my vision about how to succeed in your project, most of all when you have to obtain money in your business. This is not miraculous or the fruit of our. Of course, it is a real training that just needs to be done. So I would like to share a bit about what investors and loaners expect in general when they study a file, And then how to deal with your own projections and limitations about money, because they exist, yes. And then how to get prepared and handle it. And you know, very honestly, I wouldn't have been able to do this just 1 year ago because I didn't feel this confidence inside me. No. Since a long time, I have been watching women entrepreneurs with a very admirative eye. And for many years, I've worked on this dream to have my own activity, but without really believing in it. Because, you know, thinking like, oh, no, I can't really do that. It's not for me at the end. And it seems to be too much. I'm not really this kind of person, and I'm not worthy enough, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? Everything's possible as long as you know, feel, and body exactly what you want to do. The tricky thing is that I didn't know what to do. No. But I worked on it and found it. And I have been through the Blueprint for Success method, and it completely transformed my life. And I've seen such beneficial results on other people that I decided to be a facilitator of this method to help concretely. It also gave me the auto-renewable fuel to move forward. And this is the same fuel that helps us to face our obstacles too, like asking for money, for example. So if you feel like a call about this topic, let's jump together into the right mindset to get funding. Here we go. So what investors and loaners expect from you? When you launch your own business or a startup, you have to be multitask and deal with many various topics. It is the craziest combination between real life and projections. Lots of ups and downs, decisions to make, good or bad, important choices to do, tensions between people, family, and working a lot. Total investment. Honestly, you can be good in all areas and bad also. That's normal. But you are working on it, and that's okay. Before thinking about funding, fundraising, crowdfunding, etc., you will need to think about and work on many things like the product or service idea, the value proposition, the brand, the market research, audience, development, validation, and launching. And of course, plans, action plan, communication and marketing plan, and of course, business and investment plan. So obviously, you embody and know your subject very well since you have worked on it so many hours. It is just your newborn baby with many months of gestation. You know each details. So when you start off thinking about how to get and raise money into your activity in order to accelerate the speed or just to make it happen, turn your idea into reality, and also access the market successfully, you will have to face a new dilemma. Yes, this will be one of the hardest decisions and process to undertake during the journey. Because you will have to reveal it, to show it, to expose it, to explain it, to talk about it to others' mind than yours, and also to seduce and convince people who have different interests and think also differently than you. So big deal. But without money, no team, no prototype, less opportunities, no real product or service, etc. If you are wealthy enough, forget about it. Oh, anyway, even if you have the money to get to a certain growth of level of your business, you will get to a point where you need to draw the line between growing based on revenue generated and by the actual product, or start thinking about raising money from external sources. So it's a time to think about it. And thanks to the efficiency of your global researchers and networking among others, you will jump into various rounds between your own connections, accelerators, and angels to fund the idea first, and then investors, venture capitalists, and bankers to raise more money to develop your company. How much you have to raise will depend on your business plan and your project. Generally, it takes anywhere from 3-6 months to get the funds and around 18 months of coverage until you need to do another fundraising round. So you will have to strengthen your motivation and activate your relentlessness. An investor's job is to invest. So they are constantly looking for companies they can work with. They will tell you what they want to see in your business to make it suitable for an investment from them. They also look for opportunities in industries that they are familiar with, and the chance to own a large percentage of the company so that they can influence its direction. While often their advice is just good business sense, it may not always match with what your company actually needs. You can feel free to say no, and don't waste a single second meeting and flirting with investors if you aren't serious about taking investment at the end of it all. Taking investment is not the only path to success, and their money is something you don't necessarily need. But according to the researchers, it helps a lot to be more successful in the long run. Having a strong equity is a real asset for the development of the company. And you know, I was reading this morning a very interesting study you can read in the website PitchBook. The article says named All In Female Founders in the US VC Ecosystem, VC Venture Capitalists. The article says that when it comes to exits, female founded companies are outperforming the market, with their value rising 144% from 2020 compared to an overall increase of 102%. Exits of female founded firms are also happening quicker, 6.7 years versus 7.7 years overall. A data point that reflects the superior business performance of the companies, the report says, and one that should incentivize investors to seek out more companies started by women. This is good news. So a venture capitalist, the VC, is a private equity investor that provides capital to companies with high growth potential in exchange for an equity stake, which is very interesting because it consolidates the top of the balance sheet and the working capital. This could be funding startup ventures or supporting small companies that wish to expand but do not have access to the equities markets. So the VC fund will buy a stake in these firms, nurture their growth, and look to cash out with the famous and substantial return on investment. VC typically look for companies with a large potential market, a unique product or service with a strong competitive advantage, and also with a strong management team. So your personality will influence a lot the projection they will have about the possibilities of growth, because this is what they are buying. Even if they can influence the direction, they are not managing the company. So they absolutely need to be assured that the company is running by efficient and reliable managers. Whereas for institutional, a banker's job is to lend money to earn interest on it. They are interested in the risk that your project represents because that will be the cost of your loan. They don't usually invest in new projects because of the high risk of failure, but some of them do. Even if, and unlike investors, they only look at the financial balance between incomes and liabilities. They have to evaluate the project in the holistic vision. The major risk for them is the failure too, even if the loan is guaranteed. A banker doesn't lend money because of the guarantees, but because of the balance offered and the chances to be paid in return. So obviously, your file, plans, and figures need to be very persuasive and documented, and most of all, the business plan. Because if you look closely, making a financial forecast consists of translating into all the information gathered during the previous steps into financial elements, and to control the viability of the company by projecting these elements over time, 1 year minimum. Therefore, seen in this light, you understand that you need to be very persuasive and ambitious while being prudent and realistic if you want to remain credible in front of a banker. Because this is only about projections. And if you are not 110% persuaded of the viability of your forecast, the banker will know it. This is a very difficult exercise, but at least you can be 110% confident about your own value, and that Whatever happens, you will hold your vision, COVID or not COVID, you see? I have heard recently some entrepreneurs sharing their experience. That was very interesting because they were two quite different people, but they both experienced the same difficulties. The quantity of no they had to face was almost the same for both men and women. It was somewhat comforting that it's not about gender, but about something deeper. Just to resume what they said, they were both according on the fact that it is a long journey and the importance of the quality of their environment, the love that surrounds them, and the help that you could receive from professionals. It is important not to stand alone because it is also a roller coaster of emotions. You also have to deal with managing your own emotions because they are attached to the whole process. It feels like you put your life in the balance. When you have to pitch your project, your baby, in only 90 seconds, for example, you have to promote your dream, but you have to stay humble. You are raising money for the love of your life and have to face rejections, negotiations, compromises. This is a real journey indeed, and you need to behave as enduring as a marathon runner whose course doesn't seem to have an end. You have to be involved 100% of your time. It is harassing. And if you don't have a strong emotional and physical skeleton to support all this, this is in fact exhausting. By the way, never take it personally. It might be the love of your life, but it is not life itself. And you can exist without them, whereas investors don't exist without startups. So there is always a good way to close to a win-win. And it makes me think about the Buddhist sentence. Success in life hinges on the determination one upholds. So talking about money is a good indicator of where you are, each of us, with this subject. So this is very interesting to go beyond the superficial analysis about, okay, money is not so important, or I don't need to get rich to be happy, I won't talk about the law of attraction because many people talk better than me about that. I just want to focus on how our own conditional mindset can reflect on our projects. It is very relevant to take the time, when time of funding is coming, to take an attentive eye about why do I really want this money? Because there is often a subtle and instructive undercurrent that is brave to look at. Even if it's clear that your project needs fund, ask yourself why 3 times. And most of all, what for? Go there and dig deeper. In the end, ask yourself very honestly, what is all this destined to be and serve? Business, money, success, yes, why not? But what for? Who do I serve? My triggers, my ancestral story, my patterns, my traumas, my dreams, my real inner dreams, or the ones of the society, of the family, my own fears, or my truth? Does it serve a greater purpose beyond my own ego? Do I find a meaningful sense in a higher way? Does it serve the community? Am I creating real values that serves and helps the community? At the end, is that all makes sense? And you will probably be able to see where your money mindset is. As a matter of fact, a money mindset is a manifestation of your attitudes and beliefs about money. A positive money mindset can help guide your behaviors in an unusually powerful way, while a negative money mindset can produce equally negative effects. It makes me think about an experience I remember when I worked in the bank a few years ago. One day, my boss and I, we were just a very small team working for a niche market in the bank about funding renewable energy power plants project. And then we met 2 businessmen asking for money to fund their solar power plants. The plans, the figures looked good, but without saying anything between us, we felt like something was wrong, but we couldn't tell what it was exactly. And then we said no, because in the end, it was just about money. These two businessmen were just thinking about incomes for them and didn't care about the risk taken by the bank. That couldn't work. They didn't really care about what they were doing. They were just craving for money. But it cannot work like that. And it was obvious compared to the other serious and committed clients who carried out structural projects. Money has a mission and has to serve something. This is my thought. Money mindset is largely influenced by past experiences around money from family, household, where talking about money was taboo topics, etc. From there, you are either consciously or subconsciously developed a unique set of beliefs toward money based on your life experiences. The good news is that regardless of your background, your money mindset can be strengthened or changed depending on the information you consume today. Developing new attitudes and reforming old ones is most definitely possible by adopting a more positive outlook and retaking control over the factors in your financial life that you have the ability to change. If you find yourself repeating negative phrases in your mind when it comes to money, you're certainly not alone. But there's an antidote in the form of employing a genuinely positive outlook, even when it seems difficult or unrealistic. And just be aware about what is hiding inside your own beliefs, help you to reframe your thoughts and think about money in a higher perspective and a legitimate way. If you realize that you are serving a higher cause beyond your own ego, that you are completely aligned with what you have always wanted to do, you will see money as the powerful energy it represents. And that is just a tool helping the creative flow to manifest. That is why it is really interesting to look at the issue as well as your own purpose, because you will find naturally your own truth about why you are here and what you have to do and serve. And then you will find your own fuel to work smarter and not harder. It seems very simple like that, but unfortunately, it's too simple, yes, because usually we don't invest enough on ourselves first. And I am the first on the list. Well, I used to be the first since I did the job and saw the difference between being aligned with my purpose and not being aligned. And with just some savings in my bank account and few jobs, I decided to change my way of living in a foreign country, in a different language, without any friends or family. So this is a very powerful fuel, like the sun. It is auto-renewable. So we have seen that the common point with entrepreneurs, successful and others, is that they say that it is a long journey and they have to face many rejections on their path. But they succeeded. So it means that it is absolutely possible, only if you truly believe in it. By the way, you need to be very confident and honest with the answer about the purpose of your mission. I believe that successful entrepreneurs are the ones who are connected to their real purpose and aligned with their mission and their vision. Only me can do this as well, because I am designed to do this mission and be this kind of person. That's the reason why I am here. That's the famous alignment, purpose, vision, passion, and values. This is for me the famous definition of success. Succeed your life, not in your life, and to be what you have been designed to be. Every day you can see the difference between people aligned or others who are not. Your instinct sends you messages about the right perception. You know it, but most of the time you don't trust it. Mental needs to have the control and you don't really listen to. So are your body, mind, and soul well connected? If you work on it, you will discover your own power because it is your own truth, composed by your history, your experiences, your resilience, and your dreams. And when it is time to go, you look back and you can claim easily, honestly, and spontaneously that, wow, you had so much fun during your life. That is success. No regrets, only fun. And it is obvious that if you are where you are right now, is that you have a mission to fulfill, because you wouldn't be there if not. And that also would be okay if not. So that's why, as long as you don't really incarnate your purpose, feel it, assume it, and enjoy it, that will be more difficult and easily shaken by the environment. You need to embody 110% your purpose. And that is completely possible because you just need to work on it, give time and interest, face your limitations, your story, see you in the mirror of your inner personality, and that's it. So easy. Of course, at first, the excuses of no time and no money will be the best ones not to do the job because you will consider that you don't need it, you don't worth it, and bye, you have better to do. Whereas it is the basis of your project. These solid foundations will infuse in each branch of your project. Your alignment are the roots of your project that nothing will disturb. Because you are the project, even if it is a product or a service, and that's what will convince the investors or loaners. Remember, please. To resume, I would say these words from Buddha. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. So the right mindset would be, in fact, the best aligned mindset between your purpose, your truth, and your vision. And if the money you are raising for your project is legitimate and right about the purpose you serve, it will happen. So yes, be confident only in your inner truth and value. Thank you so much for your attention and your listening. And I am also grateful for the production team and the organizers for your great job and summit. I hope you will enjoy everything. Feel free to contact me if you want to know more about how to work on it. It will be a pleasure for me to answer. I wish you a wonderful, magnetic, successful development. Goodbye.
So our next talk is a conversation with Maria Jose Monferrer Freire, founder at AI Verse, which is a nonprofit organization that promotes artificial intelligence and technologies for girls and families. She's based out in Madrid. She has a background in digital transformation and innovation, management consulting, startup mentor to several organizations, including ESADE's Women's Leadership Program. And her talk is the importance of having more women developers and having a presence in AI. As we know, given the diversity situations today, and especially with gender gaps and equity gaps, it's more important here to really support women, provide them the resources and tools, and especially in the technology space. So let's take a look at her talk.
Hola, soy María José Monferrer, presidenta de iVerse. iVerse.tech es una asociación sin ánimo de lucro desde el que unos profesionales y expertos en inteligencia artificial pretendemos acercar la inteligencia artificial a los jóvenes y a las familias. ¿Por qué es necesario más jóvenes en inteligencia artificial? El mercado es un mercado en crecimiento. El mercado global de la tecnología tiene un valor global de 51 billones de dólares con un crecimiento del 28%, y en los próximos 5 años va a llegar a 171 billones de dólares con un crecimiento del 35%. Por tanto, es un mercado en crecimiento. Pero el problema no es que el mercado crezca, es que el talento no crece a la misma velocidad que crece la demanda. En países como India y China sí que crecen los graduados en STEM. Sin embargo, en la India tenemos un 30% de papers de mujeres, que está muy bien, pero no es el caso de Estados Unidos y Canadá o China. En Estados Unidos y Canadá es el 15%, en China el 4%, y bueno, en España no llegamos tampoco al 30% de la India. ¿Qué necesitamos? Pues en muchos países europeos está aumentando el número de graduados en STEM, sin embargo, no crece al mismo ritmo ni los profesores ni la inversión que se hace. En China, sin embargo, sí que están invirtiendo en inteligencia artificial en la educación en primaria y secundaria. ¿Qué necesitamos? Pues necesitamos más talento. ¿Y qué podemos hacer? En Estados Unidos tenemos unos datos muy interesantes que dice que la demanda de talento crece en un 48% en los últimos años. Sin embargo, los graduados en STEM han crecido un 26% en los últimos 3 años. ¿Y cuál es el problema? Si el 75% son hombres y el 25% son mujeres, tenemos lo que llamamos una gráfica tijera. La gráfica tijera significa que mientras la demanda crece y la oferta disminuye, el gap cada vez es mayor. Por tanto, si ahora mismo no tenemos mujeres en tecnología y especialmente en inteligencia artificial, la demanda es tan alta que el gap solo hace que incrementar. Por tanto, hay que poner medidas en la educación. ¿Y qué aportamos nosotros o qué aporto yo desde mi granito de arena? Mi granito de arena es desde ibes.tech. Queremos fomentar la curiosidad en los más jóvenes, que acompañados con sus familias puedan, digamos, adentrarse en el mundo de la inteligencia artificial. Entonces, me gustaría hablaros un poco de IBES. Es una asociación que surge después del programa de Technovision Families. Fuimos los expertos aquí en España que lanzamos Technovision Families y ahora estamos muy comprometidos con el programa en versión nacional y lo hemos llamado IA en Familia y os invitamos a que os unáis a esta iniciativa. Bueno, también me gustaría hablar que realmente este cambio, esta transformación digital que estamos viviendo, solo es posible si podemos, si tanto las empresas privadas y públicas y las instituciones públicas, los gobiernos y la educación y la sociedad nos involucramos en fomentar el mejor uso de la tecnología. Necesitamos un cambio cultural y el esfuerzo de los gobiernos lo hemos visto por las inversiones que hay, las empresas están invirtiendo, el mercado crece, la educación va a una velocidad que debería adaptarse al cambio tan vertiginoso con el que cambia la tecnología y por tanto estas iniciativas desde las non-profit, digamos, acercan la innovación a los más jóvenes y fomentan este cambio cultural hacia las nuevas tecnologías. Para hacer crecer el talento realmente es lo más escaso, es el petróleo de este siglo y todos queremos que haya más chicos y chicas en tecnología, sobre todo chicas. ¿Y por qué es importante que haya más chicas? Porque actualmente en la inteligencia artificial, en el machine learning, son muy importantes los datos, desde dos puntos de vista. Los datos desde el punto de vista de la calidad del dato y su diversidad, que contemple todos los tipos de usuarios, para que no perpetuar los sesgos que se pueden llegar a implementar si los datos están sesgados. Por tanto, para no perpetuar el sesgo es necesario, primero, contemplar un buen uso, unos buenos datos y a su vez que participen más mujeres en tecnología. También desde desde EGECON, la Asociación Española de Ejecutivas y Consejeras, hemos lanzado o vamos a lanzar el marco STEAM. El marco STEAM consiste en 5 claves: digitalización con propósito, cultura digital, seguridad, ética y transparencia, transformación e innovación y accesible a todos. En distintos ámbitos, como he mencionado: empresa, educación, institución y desde la persona. Es el modelo triple hélice de Stanford, y alineado y capitalizando las estrategias tanto de la Agenda Digital Europea como los Objetivos de Desarrollo Sostenible, ONU Mujeres, UNESCO y en los diferentes planes digitales. Es un sello que pretendemos adopten todos los tipos de empresas e instituciones para fomentar la inclusión, el talento STEM y la mujer. Y bueno, espero que muchos de vosotros primero participéis y hagáis el mejor uso de la tecnología, porque la tecnología es un medio para el bienestar y, por supuesto, todos tenemos que hacer el mejor uso porque el futuro depende de nosotros y eso es todo. Y queremos que vosotros seáis los que participéis en el futuro. Gracias.
For our next talk, it's International Initiatives, Academy of Women Entrepreneurs, AWE Asia. So we're very much excited to present the participants from the Academy of Women Entrepreneurs. We have Amelia Shaw, AWE team lead, and she'll talk about the program as well as the following women entrepreneurs. So we have from Taiwan, Mina Wu, founder of Ligeric Company. I apologize if I mispronounced. From Pakistan, Mariam Iqbal, founder of Global Nomad. From Malaysia, Hazian Ghazali, founder of Bee Buds Honey. From New Zealand, Sala Josephine Stowers Kolo, founder of Fanua Samoa. From India, Minushri Madhumita, founder of Think Raw India. From Thailand, Somruthai Thitathamo Peace, founder of Session Studios. So I apologize in advance if I mispronounced, but we have some really talented women here. Let's support them and let's go ahead and let's listen to what they have to say about their projects.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Amelia Shaw, and I work for the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. And I am part of the team in Washington, D.C. from the U.S. State Department that runs the ALL program. The ALL program is the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs, and it is just awesome. And let's see how many times in this presentation I say the word awesome. What is the ALL program? It is an adaptable, flexible learning opportunity. It's basically a crash course in business for women. On average, it runs about 3 months long, usually classes of 30 women. It's really focusing on hard skill sets, teaching women how to write a business plan, financial management, marketing, pitching a product. But what it's doing is it's giving women the knowledge, the networks, and the access they need to launch or scale a business. Now, for me, this picture tells a really compelling story, and that story is that the ALL program launched in 2019, and those are the countries in yellow. 26 countries were running that program in 2019. Now, today, we have nearly 80. Why is this such a compelling story? Because while the rest of the world was going through an economic downturn because of COVID, the ALL program was growing. And that is a testament not only to the strength and resilience of this program, but also for the demand for it all around the world. Investing in women is really important. This picture also tells a really compelling story, and that is that the ALL program promotes business growth and prosperity. We surveyed about 1,000 women around the world who graduated from the program. Nearly 3/4 of them told us that after completing this program, their business revenue grew. Nearly 1/3 told us that they hired more people in their business. This is all during COVID. So this is awesome. Income growth, income generation, and job creation are some of the biggest metrics for economic growth that you can have. So this is really just awesome. But this program is more than about just business. It's not just about empowerment, because this program gives women the soft skills they need to become stronger decision makers and more strategic planners, better at public speaking, all of these types of soft skills that have allowed women to help adapt their businesses during this COVID environment. In general, it just makes the women who go through the program feel more self-confident. That's the heart of empowerment. And that's just awesome. And what we think it comes down to is that when women come together as a group, they get inspired by each other. This idea that seeing another woman going through it with the same fears, the same ambitions as you have, and that feeling of, if she can do it, I can do it too. Women around the world have told us this over and over, but don't listen to me. You're much better off listening to the women who have gone through this program. So I'm just very happy to be joined here today by amazing panelists from the AW program in Asia. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Mariam Iqbal, and I run a sustainable fashion brand by the name of Global Nomad. I mostly make leather, carpet bags, Afghan silver jewelry, truck art, copper ornaments. I had the opportunity to graduate from the prestigious London College of Fashion, and for my thesis, I was working for my range of handbags, and that's where I realized that I had a strong connection with my cultural heritage. So my designs were very futuristic, but they had the cultural heritage element to it. So we comply with the UN Sustainable Development Plan of having a workplace with equal opportunities and environmental friendly products. As an entrepreneur, you're always looking to create your own space and have the flexibility, a workplace that has positive energy. And I love the whole creative process of fashion, but with a conscience. So I'm a huge advocate of slow fashion. As I support women economic empowerment and sustainable livelihoods and the struggling communities around me. So I started this business to revive dying industries. When I used to come back home, when I was studying abroad, I saw a lot of industries closing down, lots of these artisans who had skills. And that's when I realized that, you know, through my business, I would revive dying industries, preserve the cultural heritage of my province through my products. And that would help alleviate poverty and by supporting skilled artisans. Currently, the global handicrafts or handmade market is at a value of 647.57 billion USD, and they say that if the handmade industry was an economy, it would be the fourth largest in the world. And that just goes to show how much potential there is in this industry. So Pakistan's artisan communities struggle because of non-legislative for production and marketing handicraft products, non-existent international networking assistance. Thus, a development handicraft sector in Pakistan could guarantee a handsome contribution to the GDP. Investment opportunities, enhanced foreign exchange earnings, and cultural preservation. The notion of sustainable fashion is not new in the Eastern culture, as we've always, we've always sort of perceived our clothes to be timeless, and we've always sort of recycled them. And through slow fashion, I would like to sort of advocate manufacturing in respect to people's environment, being good to the environment, contrary to industry practices. So slow fashion involves local artisans and the use of eco-friendly products. That's all for me, and I'm very grateful to the Association of Women Entrepreneurs to give me this opportunity to spread the notion of slow fashion and sustainable fashion, helping the communities with us in the third world countries. Thank you all.
Good morning, everybody. This is Minushri from Thinkro India Private Limited from India itself. We are basically a solar EPC company. We started, having been born in the western rural tribal part of India. We always wanted to connect like this rural tribal part of India with the best source of renewable energy available, that is solar energy. So we are basically a solar energy based women enterprise, through and through, established by the women and run by the women and meant for the women, kind of. So, and we are really thankful to this, OW program conducted by AIC Banasteli and the North India office of US Embassy India for conducting such program that really help women entrepreneurs to go ahead and run the company in a pretty sustainable way.
Hi everyone. As I am always an overweight girl since I can remember, there was a time when I was young that I don't feel confident in my body at all because everyone around me keeps calling me fat. But the thing that come and change those attitude is when I start exercising. I found what my body can do and I start to feel proud of myself. I feel proud of my body. My name is Peace, the owner of Session Studios, where we offer confidence in the form of activewear. Once I started working out more and more, I found out another problem that there is no activewear for curvy women. If I want to buy a high quality one, I have to go for a big international brand that the price quite high and the hip part is way too big for me and the leg part is way too long for an Asian girl like me. For the local brand one, they usually import ready-made activewear from abroad. The qualities and the design are usually poor. After a few watches, the thread is sticking out everywhere and I'm not happy with it. So I come to think to myself, why don't I create one that actually answer all the needs for curvy women, the one that answer all the design, the look, and the quality. Our product offer an affordable price and it comes with three C's. The first one is comfortable, the second one is compression, and the last one is confident. Comfortable because we use a high quality nylon and spandex. We spend almost a year just to find the right fabric and it gives you a soft touch and you will feel very comfortable when wearing them. And with the right amount of compression, you will feel like the clothes giving you a warm, loving hug. We design our product to keep your boobs, your thumbs, and your bums in the right place. So whenever you have a heavy movement exercising, it will stay there. Subtling all your curve and your bodies and boost up your confidence for you to just go out there and do anything you want to do in your life. Our customers are happy customers. More than 50% of them coming back and buy more of our products. You can take a look more in our Instagram and Facebook page called Session Studios. Last but not least, Session Studios are very proud to be a part of this society that encourage every woman to stop focusing only the curves of their bodies, but start focusing more on the curves of their smiles by loving their own bodies, loving yourself as the way you are. And believe me, no matter what shape or size you have, just be yourself and that's good enough. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mina. I'm from Taiwan and I'm the co-founder of Lager. Lager is a customized clothing and lifestyle training brand. We allow Taiwanese men to have happy and small life together. So why we're doing this? After running over 200 workshops, we noticed that 41% of them are lacking in confidence and 39% have interpersonal issues and 20% have career issues. So why don't we provide a total solution to change the way they think and live? That is small life together for men. We provide clothing for their confidence and image. We provide classes to rule their minds. And we have events to enrich their life experiences. And we have powerful network for them to grow and learn together. So driven by strong customer needs, our conversion rate increases to 10% and our average order value increases to 126,000. And most of our customers are salary employees and they are willing to pay 126,000 as well. That means we can really drive purchase and the market size is really large. It's around $108 billion and we would like to get 1% of it, which is $1 billion with this business model. So start with customer needs. We design clothes and lifestyle trainings. So we have a group of customers who are highly engaged. So we can leverage other famous brand to increase our brand awareness and inbound leads. And luckily we have a bunch of touch points so we can keep earning their trust and deepening customer relationship. And our products are totally scalable since we share the same supply chain with other world-class brands and we already finished the construction of one-step service system. And our core competence, I would say, it's customer obsession, since People have strong needs, and we are the only one trying to satisfy them and provide a total solution. And I think it's hard for our competitors to do the same thing since everything looks so irrelevant to what they're selling now. And our team members complement each other, and we all follow our leadership principles, including customer obsession, think long-term, and embrace technology. We broke even last year, and our gross margin is about 63%. And now we are looking in $30 million in funding to build a good customer experience. So if you are interested in building a small life together, you are very welcome to join us. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hazan. I'm a mother of 2 young children, and I'm the founder of Bibats Honey. I was a lawyer by profession, but I decided to pursue my career in honey business. I started the business in 2016 by coincidence. It all started when my children, at the age of 2 and 4 then, were starting to get hooked on candies and other unhealthy snacks. Being a concerned mommy, I was looking for alternatives, something that is sweet but healthy. Then I found honey, something which is sweet, natural, and healthy. I did a lot of research on this and was fortunate to meet a food formulator who has helped me to get supply of pure honey and at the same time formulated a delicious honey with berries that only uses pure honey and pure berries extract. My kids love them, and from there on I wanted to share this healthy delicious honey with other mummies. So instead of pursuing my career in legal, I decided to build my own honey brand with a mission to educate young children about the goodness of honey and healthy eating, at the same time about bees and the ecosystem. So I started to team up with my partner Siti, whom I have known her since childhood. We went into schools and carried out activities with the students, and in return we could have a special slot for us to give special talk on honey and bees and also sell our honey. We also opened an exhibition booth in malls, expos, office buildings, and flea markets. Well, these activities were before the pandemic. And I was fortunate to be selected and be part of this all program and learn a lot on how to manage and strategize my business better. So when the pandemic hits in 2020, I was fast enough to pivot my business model and strategies. We did our BBATS online blueprint and we worked hard to gain awareness online. We started seeing conversion on our e-commerce platform, and within few months our brand has been spotted and won the reader's choice of best pure honey brand award, and our sales increased by 30%. Well, I am excited with our achievements, but at the same time, as a business owner, I also must share my concern on the future of our business. Uncertainty of markets, rising cost of raw materials worldwide, and the change of consumer behavior due to the pandemic could lead to another challenging period for us in 2022. And therefore, we have to get ourselves ready with all any possibilities. We do wish to continue educating the children in schools, and we hope to get continuous support from everyone, be it individuals, corporate, or government agencies. Well, thank you again, all team, for giving me this opportunity to share my experience with other women entrepreneurs in this summit. And I personally would like to wish all the best to all of us women entrepreneurs out there, wherever you are. Thank you.
Summer and warm Pacific greetings to everyone. Thank you very much for this very important opportunity to take part in this very important summit. My name is Salah Josephine Stiles Kolo. I'm currently based in Auckland, New Zealand, but I'm originally from Samoa. My business is focused on Vanua Samoa, which is translated into customary lands in Samoa or native land. Our mission statement is to inform our people of their legal rights over customary lands in Samoa and provide a secure platform for legal support and guidance. Now, a short insight into my why. I am a lawyer by profession. I have a law firm based in Samoa, so circumstances have brought me to New Zealand, and I'm still in lockdown mode here in New Zealand, but I've now explored other options. And my why is that I'm very passionate to help our Samoan people understand the relevant laws that affect their customary land rights, to address the issues and their concerns over lands in Samoa. And I've researched online, and there's no specific person that's actually got the relevant expertise and experience that I have in specializing in this type of business. So I have been practicing for about 20 years, and about half of that I've spent in the public sector, focusing a lot on issues as well affecting customer lands, which is very dear to all people in the islands. Our target market is looking at our Samoan citizens based in New Zealand or elsewhere living abroad. We're focusing on mainly our chiefs, our matais, our youth, our churches, our families or aina, our communities, as well as researchers, people that are interested in this area. So our position in the market, as I mentioned, is that I offer a number of years, over 10 years legal experience in implementing the relevant laws on customary lands in Samoa, and that separates our business from other types of services in this area. So we're a service-based form of business. So we have recently launched our Facebook page, and so far we've drawn and attracted a lot of attention and interest from people in here and also in Samoa. So using online platforms, I would like to acknowledge the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs, sponsored by the U.S. Office here in Auckland, as well as this very important summit to do all these. So that's my business, and wish everyone else here on this platform all the best with this as well. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining Day of Asia Women Impact Summit. I'd love to hear more your feedback. Please, we encourage you all to share via email or social media. Please engage with us, comment, text, whatever works, because I'd really like to hear what you found beneficial. Which talks did you find most interesting? What are your greatest pain points or needs? Please share that with us and also in the platform. That's why we're here. And the mission and purpose of Women Impact Summit, again, is to connect, to learn, to find economic opportunities, and to provide access. As we all know, given with COVID and what it's revealed to us, the gaps that's happening in society, we are treating this as an opportunity to rise up and to be empowered and to create opportunities for each other and to support each other. This is pretty amazing that through technology, we are able to connect with women and also allies and supporters from every continent around the world. When were we ever able to do that at the speed and the way that we're doing this now? This special thanks again to our sponsors, PROEXCA, Government of the Canary Islands, Casa África, Cabildo de Fuerteventura, and Heroikka. I'm really honored today to spend this time with you. Again, my name is Jenna Fuentes, and I'm based in Los Angeles. I've had just an amazing, life-changing experience to live in Spain and Argentina for 3 years. And again, working in higher education, ed tech, and consulting now. The reason why I chose to do this, why education, as you all know, that education empowers people and really closes gaps that happen due to poverty or due to, again, these injustices, as well as with startups. Why startups? Because startups really create catalysts, accelerate, and disrupt. So it's really exciting for all of us to think of ways to carve out our path. And lastly, I help with community building. And why community building? Because this is a time where we need to bring humanities back into tech. We need to bring our true selves of who we are and the emotions of what makes us human, acceptance, belonging, respect, communication. We're in a polarized world, but we can change that. And that's why I'm here also with community building. And really, it comes down to appreciating the humans and especially the women who are really pushing forward with this amazing work. If you haven't already, please register for the B2B sessions and check out the projects and businesses from women all around the world. And really, we're just beginning. We're growing now, and we need support and help. So I'd love to connect and reach out via LinkedIn, all of those who share a similar passion and values in terms of learning, taking true action, true results, and true impact. And thank you again. And I want to just send out peace, blessings to everyone around the world. And, you know, we make it. It's what we make it. So let's make it happen. So thank you again.